Hello folks and welcome back to Rome Total War. I'm Conistip and this is going to be part 48 of my Imperial campaign where I'm playing as the Julii. And in the last episode I did take Cordoba, and this is going to probably turn out to be a wonderful prize for me because there is so much that I can do here. I mean, I can already, just right from the get-go, I can train these scorpions, which is really cool. I haven't trained any of those. I did receive one as a gift from the Senate way back in the day, and I lost it immediately in a hopeless fort defense battle, which is unfortunate. I can also train the legionary cohorts, which makes this only the second settlement where I can actually train the legionary cohorts. So that's pretty cool. And as I mentioned before, the legionary cavalry, so I'm super excited about that. Eventually we'll be training those here as well. Not quite yet. I need to continue to train peasants so that I can keep the public order up so that I can leave this soon. As soon as I can, hopefully. I would like to move this army out to advance onto this settlement.
Secrecy is assured.
Scalabus, yeah. Wow, there's really not much here, is there? 3 units. Yeah, that's where I want to go.
Secrecy is assured.
Skirmishers, Iberian infantry, and round shield cavalry. Sweet. That's going to be awesome. So, it's tempting because I wouldn't even need to bring the entire stack to defeat that. However, I do know that the Spanish do have at least a full stack waiting up here in their capital province. So I probably should just kind of do this the safe way and take care of Cordoba until it's ready to stand on its own, then move out with my entire stack. This is my faction leader after all. Don't want to send him into any unnecessary, risky situations. For now, it's tempting. Gosh, there's so much money to be had here in Cordoba when it comes to building the mines. This is the upgraded mines that I could build. I could build, highways for some more money. I could build the forum for some more money as well. It's really, really tempting. But just to get myself out of here faster, I mean, the sewers is an easy little boost for, loyalty and whatnot. Public order. Squalor's not so bad. It's 15%, so not bad at all. Temple of Jupiter seems good. Getting some extra happiness and law from that. Not so much for the corruption. Corruption's not as bad as I thought it would be here. But yeah, just getting me able to move out of here faster seems like that's a good idea. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but man, it's really tempting to just go full on economy. But I can get around to that, So I probably should invest in a Temple of Jupiter here. And then, yeah, just keep training those peasants as I'm doing, yeah. Yep. Okay. So that's going to be the key there. I can take Numantia in this turn. I hopefully can actually take the settlement this time. There's really not much left. So even though this army, are they banged up? I thought they were. Maybe they're not as banged up as I thought. I think I did get some reinforcements from this guy. Caius Ogunius. I know he brought some men with him. So I guess, yeah, this army's looking pretty good.
Orders.
Ballistas. 4 units of archers. Oh yeah, we're going to be fine. Yeah, that's going to be nice. You can continue to build watchtowers because that's something that I've been sort of neglecting in this area. So just continue with doing that. I can get some sight on Palma, which is pretty nice. And yeah, this is where the Carthaginians have the last vestiges of their strength hanging out here. And yeah, the Scipio have sort of ignored them. Oh, we have ourselves a Spanish boat here. Large boats and regular boats. And this is just a trireme, so I don't like the chances there. But this navy can come over. Can I merge these guys? I don't think I can. They both have stars, don't they? Yeah, so I can't merge them. Alright. Well, you don't have a star, right? No. Okay. So they should be able to merge, correct? Yes, okay. And then yeah, we'll see if we can intercept this Spanish navy there, that little fleet there. Alright, that's looking okay. Now, moving on over to the northern part of my empire here. it's probably worth the time to take a moment to look at the overall macro picture here, because something that was kind of brought to my attention recently in one of the comments was, what's next expansion wise. And once I've taken, so if we go back here, I have 19 regions controlled and my goal is 50 provinces. And so that's 19. So this is going to be 20 with Numantia, 21, and then 22. And then coming up here, we're looking at 23 with Tara. And then 24 with Batava Vodorum. And 25 with Trier. Eventually, I still have that ceasefire with the Germans. So that's not going to be happening at least for a few more turns. That's going to be 25 settlements, and that's going to be half of my goals. So first off, hopefully things do speed up as we continue to roll along. And secondly, the question is, when does the Civil War happen? It's something that I've sort of wondered about for a while now. I think that this the Civil War mechanic is a little bit vague itself. I know that YouTuber Melkor did make a video about how to trigger the Civil War himself. I did address this, and I think in my first episode of this campaign, just as a reminder, I think that Melkor is onto something when he talked about you just need to take a certain amount of settlements, and then you can trigger it. And I think he's onto something. But the fact that his numbers are different on his testing based on which Roman factions he was using seems a little bit arbitrary for me to accept. And when I see an arbitrary number, that's when I start to raise my eyebrow and think, well, why would it be a different number for each Roman faction? And again, I'm just trying to remind you folks, if you've forgotten or if you maybe skipped past the first episode because I was, going quite slowly. Just as a reminder, my theory is that the Civil War is linked a little bit more to the Empire's overall population and not necessarily how many settlements is owned, although obviously settlements and population do go hand in hand. I think that that's what Melkor was seeing, but the fact that the Julii settlements required was always one or two more than what was required for the Scipii or the Brutii, well, that follows suit with what I'm thinking, my little theory here, because the Julii settlements that they conquer, the direction that they conquer in typically is lower population density. So that's what I thought that Melkor was saying, but I don't think he quite understood it. And I probably have no right in saying this because he has just way more experience in this game than I do. But that's the feeling that I got. And I think that there's something though that he did touch on that I do think is relevant, which is that it's not. I think that the happiness of your people does count towards something. So it's not about having an entire empire of red-faced, happiness icons. It needs to be higher than red. So, you can't have an empire that's on the brink of revolt to themselves, because we're talking about the people's, popularity for you. Not just how many people do you have, but are they digging you as a ruler? Are they really about it? And that's another thing that I don't know quite, does it need to be in a certain color above red, or does any color above red matter? Does it have to be in the blue and above, yellow and above, green and above? I don't know. These are all just kind of theories that are being bounced around in my head. And I don't think, so anyway, that's just kind of what I'm thinking here, is I'm wondering what all that has to do with it. So if we look in here, for instance, and this is where my theory falls apart, which is that I'm looking in here and I'm ahead of the Brutii and the Scipii. I have 5 points for the people and they have 4 each. And so if I look into here, custom selection, I already pulled this up before I started recording. Custom selection, I'm looking at the Scipii, myself, and the Brutii, and this is the population rankings. So Scipii have more, so they're around in the 30,000 people mark. And I'm sitting at around the, 23,000 perhaps. And the Brutii are sitting around the 22-ish thousand. Yeah. So that kind of flies in the face a little bit of the, you know, of what I was saying, except unless I can kind of go around all my settlements and say, oh, my people are happier than the Scipii. Can I even look at their settlements? Can I see that information or no? No, I have no, yeah, I'd have to like spy on them to get that information. Okay, yep, right, makes sense. So that's just a theory that I can't prove or disprove because I can't see their settlement information. I would have to get spies out into every single settlement to see if there's any traction on that. You know, as always, you know, you're welcome to comment and throw your opinions in on this. So what does that mean for like the direction of this campaign then? Like, where do I go? I'm basically kind of cut off at 25 settlements. No, not necessarily, right? I can obviously stretch out a little bit and take 26, 27, and 28. So just right here, past Trier and Batava Vodorum, there is 3 more settlements that I can take before I start bumping into the Brutii. Now, will I get to these before they do? I don't know. I'm not specifically racing towards it just because I do kind of like having this river between myself and the Brutii, but again, you know, who knows? So if I get cut off then, what exactly do I do? My thinking is that if the Civil War mechanic is based on population, I was kind of hoping that at 25 settlements that either A, the Civil War happens and the Senate basically asks me to fall on my sword, and then I say no, and then that starts the Civil War. I was kind of hoping for that route. However, that doesn't have to be the only route. I think I'm allowed to just attack them, aren't I? I feel like I saw that in the Many a True Nerds campaign where he just, at a point, he just decides to attack them. And I guess, can you just do that at any point? I don't even know. Can you just attack the Romans and start that civil war at any point in the campaign? Doesn't it stop you from doing that earlier on? I don't know these things. I don't know these things. But if it's more of an idea of like, you know, me just needing to build up my population for a little bit, I'm not against that. If I have to... Okay, I am and I'm not. Obviously, in my nature, I'm pretty okay with sitting around and just kind of building stuff up. But because this campaign is dragging a little bit, it's getting a little bit long, because of that, I would be tempted to start that civil war and get things moving along. Now, can I compete with the Brutii and the Scipii right now? I don't know. The Brutii look like they have a lot of armies here. And down in Greece, I mean, I guess there's not a lot down here, I suppose. So I suppose if I'm looking at it, it looks like their concentration is just kind of in this area up here. But then, what do I have? I have 1 army up here, you know? So, you know, that doesn't give me a ton of confidence. The Scipii, however, it's a little bit different. I feel like I could really push into their African provinces. They have an army there. There's not much in the rest of Africa until you get to Leptis Magna. There's a couple of forces here. And then you start getting more forces marching on Egypt. So the Scipii armies seem like they're really out of the way to defend any of their core provinces. And I don't think I need to even... I just have to take 50 provinces in Rome. You don't need to take every single Roman province, right? So the Scipii don't seem like they're in a great spot to wage that war against me. You know, it kind of feels like I could even ignore them if I wanted to. Or not. You know, I could take a few strategic African possessions just to sort of like block them from attacking into my valuable provinces in Iberia and, you know, southern Gaul. So yeah, if the Civil War happens, it might be more of a me versus the Brutii war up here in Central Europe. And then it would be kind of a me versus the Senate war down here in Italy. And even down here, gosh, do they only have 2 stacks? Is that it? And they only have the old-fashioned stacks, don't they? Yeah, it's true REI, Stadi. Good experience on these guys, sure, but like, it's old-fashioned stuff. It's a funny thing, isn't it? It's a funny thing that the Senate just gets like the old-fashioned stuff. They get some Praetorians, some early legionaries. Okay, so they have some better stuff, but like not much. Yeah, it's interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. I do want to push things along at a quicker pace. That part is true. But I might not be ready to jump right on into a land war against the Budii. I might need a little while to build up my forces, or I just need to really find those river crossings and make sure that I can make the Budii pay for any advances. So like here would be a key spot to block up with a fort. And then here, because yeah, well, yeah, I have a fort right there. What am I doing? Yeah, there's a fort right there. So that part's already blocked up. And then, yeah, I have a fort blocking this river crossing, but I could just put an army there. So that's an option. And there are a lot of river crossings, like in this area too. So there's a lot of options here when it comes to either holding Trier and I have a bridge here. Or let's see, as I follow this river along, sure, there's a bridge there, but that wouldn't be facing the Budii. It would be more like a bridge here, perhaps, if I wanted to hold, let's see here. So this province ends right here. So this province of holding this bridge would be Dam itself. And then that seems kind of like a good spot. Holding Trier, Batava Vodorum, and Dam. Just to kind of hold those bridges might be a good place to funnel in this bridge too. That might be a good little, funneling section for the Budii armies. I don't know, because they don't really have a presence up here. So I don't see them advancing through this to threaten me on this like northern flank. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to hear if any of y'all have tips and tricks for the Civil War. Clearly, I have some questions on how it functions and how it works and everything. I've seen, like, I've watched. I'm in the process of watching Many a True Nerd's Roman campaign where he plays as the Budii. So I get the general gist of things, and I think that he did just attack the Romans. I don't think he waited for any orders to commit suicide. Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? Like, I'm pretty sure that being ordered to commit suicide comes from the Senate hating you and then like the people loving you. Now, the Senate hating you part is a little bit weird because is that just linked to like not performing the Senate missions? Because if that's the case, like we're good then. Because I've been a pretty good Roman when it comes to doing what they tell me to do. So, is it that I only get permission? Like, can I only start the attack against them? I don't even want to. I'm afraid of testing it. I'm pretty sure I get permission. They asks me. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if things go wrong, I can always load back this save. So let's just like. So yeah, you cannot attack Rome yet. You do not have enough popular support to take power. Got it. Okay, so yeah, that's directly linked to this. Got it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that makes I'm assuming that I only get told to kill myself if this gets super low. But that would just never happen if you continue to complete their missions, right? Or is there other ways for them to fear you? Or like, do they just like naturally start to fear you when the people love you too much? Is that just kind of a natural, like this goes up and then this goes down kind of deal? Yeah, I don't know. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough time spent on that jibber jabber. This army that was going to attack Trier, but now that I have that pretty sweet deal with the Germans, how long is that going to last? 6 more turns? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's just keep moving then. They can go up here and they can support Appius Corvinus, and he's on his mission to take Batava Vodorum off of the Britons which might be kind of a tough little fight. I am probably going to be forced to assault this settlement because the Senate wants me to take it in 10 turns, and it's going to take me a little while to get there, surprisingly, considering the distances involved. It's going to take a little while. So yeah, I'm probably going to be forced to assault. I'm probably going to take a fair few casualties, and I'm probably going to want to have an army just as like backup, you know, just in case. And or it's a faster way to attack kind of down into the Germans from the north, if that's what it comes down to as well. The Germans have a fair few forces in this area as well, so they're not going to be any pushovers for sure. Now, this navy doesn't have to blockade this port anymore. However, there's a 9-man boat here. As much as I want to attack this pretend navy, they don't have any men. No, they don't have any men. All right, let's just go back to port so that I can retrain my boats. There we go. And you are probably going to go... Can you just get right on that boat from here? Oh, that's funny. Okay, yeah. And then you're just... Okay, that's kind of funny. Okay, that's how that works. I didn't know you could do that. Kind of just jumps from that shore onto the boat, and then from the boat... into here. Yeah. Yeah, that works. You're going to come down here, and you're going to place your final watchtower on the tip of this. Okay, you can't do it there. All right. Well, we found a British boat, and we can attack that later. But we have a more important mission right now. You're going to come here, and then you're going to get in the boat, and then you're going to come here. Then you guys are going to come here, and you can... Yeah, sweet. You guys can, yeah, besiege Tara right away.
Besieging settlement, sir.
Perfect. Maintain that, and then we can attack that in the next turn, so that's going to be awesome. And you guys are already been moved. Yes, yes you have. Okay then, so down here, let's go ahead and attack Numantia.
General, attack!
Yeah, let's finally take this place. It's about time. Man, look at that. Maglocunis of Carrasco, or Carcasso. Maglocunis of Carcasso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-star general. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh man. I have to be careful around him. So yeah, there's going to be 3 general's bodyguard units, including the 40-man faction leader, and then the 24-man, and then the 35-man faction heir. So that's a lot of heavy cavalry. Luckily, the Barbarian Novacab is just down to a 1-man unit, so not much there. And not much anywhere else. A 115-man warband and a 61-man swordsman. But yeah, other than those 2 units, mostly what we're looking at is going to be the 3 bodyguard units. So it'd be nice if they kind of hung out around the settlement's walls so that I could blast them with my ballistas. That'd be really sweet. But if not, then I'm going to have to march into the settlement and blast them with my archers and my javelins and hope that my spearmen and early legionaries can hold the line against that onslaught. So yeah. Here we go.
These Gauls do not need your fear. Cold steel will bring them down, just like any other men. This is the end of the road. This is the last battle. The enemy have nowhere left to run. They must hold us here, or like so many ghosts, vanish away utterly. So let us take up our arms one last time, sharpen the sword, and make ready. This will be the day of their final, lasting defeat. They have been lulled into a false sense of security by a few feet of defensive wall, as if that will protect them. Their position is hopeless, the count of their troops pitiful, but remember that the base cur still has a bite. We must slaughter the enemy from a distance with missiles and wear them down. I fought and lost against these men, but it is not something that will happen again. Today, I take my revenge. Today, you taste the fruits of victory! Only a fool cares for omens and portents, no matter how bad they may be. We make our own destinies, and we are not ruled by the flight of some damn bird. And before we start, just remember, they are more scared of us, true Romans to a man, than we are of them.
Well, it's pretty nice that they didn't have a chance to actually build back or repair their walls since the last battle, so I'm just going to go in there with this one battering ram to make a third entry point, and that's all that I'm going to require. And are we in range already? Are we shooting stuff already? Man, my archers, that range is insane. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, so we are already shooting swordsman and warband, and what they want to bring in their... They want to bring up their cavalry? Hey, I'm all about that, so... If they want to bring up more guys for me to shoot, that's perfect. Now, I don't have quite as many spears as I kind of thought I had, so this unit on this side is basically going to be useless. Luckily, let's see, yeah, you guys can move up, and then... Let's see, Light Auxilia, I want you to stay back. I want you to save your javelins for later on. And let's see, Blisters, are you in range of anything? No, so you have to move up? Okay. So let's move you up there, and then on this side, archers move up, legionaries move up. So yeah, we only have the 2 units of like decently strengthed spearmen, which is a little bit problematic. Not gonna lie. We're really gonna have to do a lot of damage with our ranged units. Now that the gate is down, and they are pretty much abandoning the walls, although they did let this one unit of swordsmen just get completely wrecked, so they're going to be going down. And here's that one-man barbarian noble cav. In fact, I don't even mind sending the spears right in. He can go in and fight them. Auxilia on this side, they can go in as well. And the healthy unit of Auxilia can go in on this side. And I'm going to see if this is going to provoke any response, because, again, I would like to have a fight in an area where my ballistas can't support. That would be preferable. And yeah, you guys go in here and fight them. And let's see, early legionaries. Yeah, you guys come up. In fact, you get into column formation and go in like that. And then here, alright, so they're done. You form up here. And is there anyone going to be coming around this side? Makes me a little bit nervous. Actually, kind of tempted. Yeah, you go this way. And then you guys make a different group and come out in this way. That looks good. Archers move up a little bit. Move up a little bit. And yeah, we're not getting much of a response from them, are we? Looks like they're going to be staying back, which is, yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping I could use my blisters. It's too bad that I can't get them inside of the settlement. That just seems so silly. It's like, god darn it. It's too bad. If they want to bring down the remaining 29 warband, and I can take them apart with my archers, yeah, that's going to be really good for us. Our archers are, gosh, they're a little bit lower on ammo than I thought they were, or would be. Let's go ahead and bring my cohorts up, and let's try to break these guys. I don't want their warband. Ooh, man. It's a little bit of friendly fire, guys. Kind of thought the ranged units were better at not shooting into friendly conflict. Yeah, let's see if we can run some of these guys down. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe just get these guys back. Alright, yeah, because that's a lot of heavy cav, and I need to be ready for it. So, let's see here. Let's make sure we get our spears up. We need them to be taking the brunt of that hit. And we need all of the pelum in the world. What are you guys shooting at? These guys? Alright, that's fine. Yeah, shoot them. And if they're not going to be coming around the sides, I would rather have this extra unit of early legionaries up here. Now that we have our men set up for this push up the hill, let's go ahead and start pushing. This could be a pretty tough charge when they do come down here. This hill advantage is no joke. It's not just like a little hill. That's a decent hill, you know. If you were out on the battlefield that wasn't a settlement and you saw this hill, you'd think like, oh man, that's a pretty scary hill. Yes, let's see here. I don't really want, I mean, let's see, what do we have? Warband. So one left there, and then he's going to be going down. There he goes. And gosh, what do they have left other than the heavy cav? I feel like they might have a couple other stragglers in the back there, but yeah, they're going to be like, I'm just going to be just massing all of my troops here down this little alley, this little street here, and saying come at me, because it's going to be no trickery here. Like, what options do I have? Coming around this side and trying to get like a flank into them on this side? I don't know if I really have the units for that. I feel like if I had gladiators, that'd be pretty nice, because they're a smaller unit. They can kind of like get around a little bit easier, it would be my guess. I think with their smaller unit size, using them in siege battles would be kind of a neat little thing. So that's something to keep in mind for future siege battles, because it would be nice to have a unit that could kind of do this. The thing is that having my Roman cavalry, basically a light cav unit, do that, I mean, man, I've seen light cav go up against heavy cav units, and it is not pretty. Like, even with like what you would call like a quote-unquote advantageous fight, like a flanking engagement or something, it doesn't seem to go well. Like light cav versus heavy cav is not a good engagement, even if you think you have the advantage. I'm going to turn my archers off of fire at will, just so that I can try to maybe get into a better position. If they're just going to hang out there, then fine. If I can get up here before we, you know, have that charge against us, perfect. That would be fine for me. Have my spears and my legionaries just bottled up in a flat, even street up against their heavy cav. Still not a pretty fight, mind you, but like, that's probably my best chance here. Here is the setup. They have allowed me to come all the way up onto even ground and get set up in this narrow little street here. Spears in front, early legionaries on the sides, and I've decided, you know, I got my light auxilia here. They have a bit more range than my pilum on the legionaries, so maybe they can throw in from back here, then maybe even from here as well onto the flanks. And then I thought, hey, let's bring the archers over here as well. They can shoot over and into the flanks. Now, I put all of my archers on this side just because on this side, they do have a side street. So if they want to, maybe they could kind of go around here and get into any archers that I wanted to maybe station on this side. And I thought, you know, that's a little too risky. I don't want to spread my forces too thin. Here on this side, there is no side street. They can't just come off the plaza and get around me and get into my guys. And then over here, let's see if I can get over here. And I do have some Roman cav that are sort of sneaking around the back. I don't know exactly. I'm just doing it, seeing maybe I can get some work done. If I need to get a rear charge, perhaps, I don't know. Or I just take the plaza with them, who knows. But if we're all set and ready to go, almost, not quite. We just need this one unit to get set up, and then we'll put all of my archers on fire at will. And then, of course, my general's ready as well. I don't think, if I remember correctly, he's not a talented general, but he has the ability that lets him rally his troops, so yeah, hopefully that's going to be good enough to keep the men in the fight. Are you guys set up? Is that what you guys call an organized formation? Maybe bring you over here. Maybe they'll give you a little bit more space. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get, so archers, fire at will, and yeah, let's see if we can fire into the mass of these men and bring them towards us. That is a lot of heavy cav. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. bring them down! Bring them down! Yeah, you guys better brace. Yeah, brace for impact. Toss the pilum in. Toss all of the pilum in. Are you guys throwing javelins? Yep, you guys are throwing javelins as well. And yeah, you guys continue throwing in. And let's see here, you rally your men. And we look like we're doing a lot of damage. 19 left in here, 21 or 32 left in there. And our early legionaries are charging on in. Go ahead and throw pilum and continue to throw pilum. Yeah, just keep the fire going. And now let's go ahead and bring our Roman cav up behind and maybe, I don't know, threaten a rear charge or something. And if not, they can always just run back. I don't need them fighting the factionaire back there. So let's see, 14 left here and 27 left. So that, yeah, that unit still has 27 men left. So yeah, and it looks like we already have a break on my Auxilia. They fought down to like, yeah, 14 men left. So can I do another rally? Yes, I can. And yeah, Light Auxilia, like you guys keep throwing your javelins in. They are chewing through my guys. Oh my god. And War Dogs, get in there as well. Even though there's only a handful of them, get in there. And what do we have? 8 left here and 18 left here. The unit of Barbarian Caveat wiped out. And oh my god. Jesus Christ. Alright, so one of them's running away. That's good. There's still 16 men left in that unit. Oh god. And then, did my guys get back? Oh, they just got routed. Oh, I completely forgot about that unit. Oh, see, that's what happens. Light cav versus heavy cav. They just got annihilated. And I don't think they killed a single man off of that unit. I don't think so. Yeah. And then, what do we have left here? 14 men left? Jesus, I don't think we're going to get this done. They're just chewing through us.
The enemy general is dead.
So we killed one of the enemy generals. And yeah, Light Auxilia. What do we have? We still have 9 left in this unit, but still 34 left in that unit. Alright, so he's been taken care of. He's done. Well, there's still, you know, four men left. And you guys you're out of ammo. That sucks. And then what about here? You're also out of ammo? Okay. Alright. Okay. And out of ammo on you guys and out of... Okay, so you guys still have some javelins left. Alright. Gosh, can we beat the remaining... How many men? 34 left. Oh, God, I wish I could bring ballistas in. You know, like... Oh, dear. That's going to be tough. That's going to be so tough. I have 28 spears back here. Maybe it's worth bringing them up at this point. I think I have to go all in here and just, you know, with all of these bodies, maybe I can get the job done. I did bring up my 28 spears from the rear, and they're fresh. They haven't fought yet, but yeah, it's not going to be much. And then a 65-man unit of early legionaries. That's not nothing. You know, and then 29 men left in that, 20 men left here, then 18 left here, and then 11 left here. And then let's go ahead and bring Light Auxilia with no javelins left, and then the Light Auxilia with javelins will be coming up right behind. And then even if I have to throw archers in as well, yeah, you guys are going to go in. We are now in distance to start throwing the last of our pilum, and there goes, ooh, there goes that barbarian warlord, and yeah, this is going to be the last stand of the Gauls, or will it? You know, they might hold out here. I'm packing in my guys as tightly as I can, and hopefully I can just kind of march through them. Is it just going to be, yeah, it's just the last unit is remaining. I have spears, just a tiny little spear unit hanging out up there. Now my legionaries do have the disciplined trait, so they are not being affected every time a non-disciplined unit runs away. So when these Auxilia do rout, that's not causing any morale damages on the legionaries, which is a fantastic thing. So let's see. Yep, here comes that last charge of the Gauls, and yeah, get those pilum tosses in there. Do as much damage as you can. Javelins get in as well. It's down to 34 men, and just keep tossing those pila. Let's see, General, you blow your horn, and Light Auxilia, throw your javelins in. And then you run in, Archer Auxilia run in as well. You guys, oh, you're behind them. You got in, get off of guard mode. Yeah, you can surround them. Perfect. Yeah, start chopping them down from behind. And, ooh, legionaries are starting to break. That's not good. General, need you to get in there. And we got it. Okay, all right. Oh, dear.
The enemy's hearts are full of fear, and now they flee.
Okay, what a fight. Yeah, they killed 369 of our men.
Worthy of Roman arms.
We killed 282. And what a bloody fight. Holy smokes. Jesus, I was pretty worried that I was not going to be able to get a victory there, so yeah, that felt pretty good. Ballistas, gosh darn ballistas, just can't do anything with them. Yeah, I guess it's kind of just a river defense specialist unit. River defense and maybe like river attack maybe would be good for ballistas. That seems to be a pretty good spot for them. All right, let's see. Exterminate. I kind of like exterminating. Yeah, I've been getting a taste for that. 8,000 people. 8,000 denarii. And lower the taxes. Let's go ahead and repair these the stockade. And I'm assuming, yeah, I think they have, what's their, yeah, Sacred Grove of Apana. Experience bonus to troops trained here, +2. That's fantastic. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, give that to me. Yeah, that's really, really good. So let's do that, and then let's recruit some peasants. And so what can we recruit here? Not as good as Cordoba, but still, like, I can get the basics. Archer Auxilia, Light Auxilia, Auxilia, Roman Cav, War Dogs, early Legionary cohorts. Yeah, that's fine. You know, it's not as good as Cordoba, but it's perfectly fine. So let's see, do we want to get a shipwright right away? Or, yeah, definitely want to keep the Sacred Grove of Epona. That's really good. What's it going to be? So, Squalor is like nothing here, so not too worried about that. Shipwright, how much money are you going to give me? 491. Oh my god, that's a pretty good chunk of money right there. Or do I want to go paved roads? Ooh, that's even better, isn't it? 491 to 710. 491. Yeah, let's get some paved roads. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be really nice. And then from there, this army is going to be out of commission for a little while, I would say. So this army might be relied upon to take both Spanish settlements. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how this army does. But yeah, they're going to be pretty damaged for a while. And the Gauls have been destroyed. Every true Roman will rejoice to see the overthrow of these people. Our followers have done well in wiping out this dangerous foe and threat to Rome's glory. Huzzah. Yes, so I finally accomplished my, that is my short campaign victory goal, correct? Yeah, there we go. Oh dear. Yep, resistance is futile. And Britons, you guys are next. Yeah, you guys got 2 settlements left. I think, right? You guys don't own this, do you? No, you do not. Yes. Yes, 2 settlements left. And yeah, you will be following the Gauls right behind. And with that, everything is now finished up for this turn, so let's go ahead and drop a save. And let's keep things rolling along. Because I'm looking forward to finally taking Ireland in this turn. That should happen. And who's fighting me here? So is that, this is that navy that I was actually hunting down, but then did it target my weaker fleet? I mean, I have more men. It looks like I'm favored to win, so yes. Got that win there, and yes, there is that Spanish army that's hanging about. And Flash Flood, ooh, that's always scary. Oh no, where'd it happen? Where'd it happen? I've had some bad luck. Okay, I don't think I had anyone there. I don't think so. I've had some bad luck losing generals to natural disasters. I can't remember if that was the case in this campaign, but in my Egypt campaign, it was just ridiculous. It's just, oh, it was so bad. All right, 24,000 in the treasury. That feels pretty good. And Flash Flood, yes. So soldiers killed. I did lose 6 soldiers. Maybe he was in that Roman fort. And yeah, I lost 314 citizens. And then, yeah, highways damaged as well, so I have to repair the highways. Okay, that's fine. Egypt is the most advanced faction. Okay, really? Is that the case? Agent found in Britannia. Who, where? Okay, yeah, my spy found their spy. I don't think I have an assassin nearby. Assassins are just so expensive, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's just a lot. Alright, faction announcements. What do we have? Aurelia has been born, coming of age. Quintus Tuditanus, another Tuditanus has joined the ranks. And Manius Tuditanus does now have an artist, +1 influence and 10% decrease to cost of bribe. Perfect. Now let's check out Quintus Tuditanus. He's up here in Evenum. 2-star command, social drinker, +1 command, and let's see, homely, poor guy. Well, many would regard this man as ugly. He prefers to think of himself as rugged. Sure thing. -2 influence, +1 command, so that helps in some ways. And then understanding of logistics, perfect, +1 morale for all troops on the battlefield and 10% to movement points. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Rather lazy, yeah, -1 management, no enemies, +1 influence and -1 from personal security. So overall, he's a general. That is what he is here for. And his father, Marcellus Tuditanus, I can't remember if he's the second or third Tuditanus, but yeah, he's come along. He's okay, 4 stars, 51. So he's coming up there in age. He's getting up there, and perhaps Quintus Tuditanus can maybe come down south and maybe govern another place in the meantime. And then Retinue expands. Yeah, we already looked at that. And yeah, we got a lot of buildings that haven't finished as well. And I started building up another army as well. I'm just gonna get another army going, and then in the neighborhood, you know, around this area here. And Armenia and Parthia at war, and the Bruttii and the Britons are at war. Okay, are they now? I don't see any war between the Britons and the Bruttii. That's for gosh darn sure. Yeah, scary. That's a huge flood. Look at that. Pretty scary stuff. All right, you come down here and continue to place watchtowers.
Moves depleted, sir. Orders?
And Cordoba. You want to be ready for me to move out of here, would you? I kind of doubt it. I can check. I mean, in one turn, the Temple of Jupiter is going to be finished as well. But yeah, we have this Spanish army. This is probably their last army, I would assume. And they kind of look like they want to come down to Scalabus because they have probably correctly guessed that's going to be my next target. And can I retrain more stuff here? Sure can. All right. Yeah, I can retrain the important stuff, which is nice. Not you. Let's continue to recruit peasants. And this army actually might end up... Yeah, I think I can fully retrain this army and they could maybe march on the final Spanish settlement if need be. My goodness, the movement range through these... yeah, I guess it's the swamps. It's like the marshes. It's causing the movement range to be ridiculously slow. All right, note to self, when moving through this territory, just take a boat. Yeah, because this is ridiculous. Am I gonna get there in 1, 2, 3 turns before I get there?
Forward. Moves depleted, sir.
What are my chances of my spy getting inside? 9%? Shit. All right, well, at least just park yourself outside and tell me what's inside. Oh, you can't even see, eh? Damn. I wonder. Sometimes I've like moved them around the settlement, and it's like that's worked sometimes. And yeah, the Bruttii are pushing. I don't know if that's gonna be enough for the Bruttii. I don't know. That's not a good enough stack. This is a bit bigger. Some legionary cavalry. Yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. Yeah, that stack might do some damage. But the German stuff already, like, I don't know. Barbarian Noble Cav, Chosen Axes, Chosen Archer Warband, like that's some decent stuff right there too. So the Germans, they're looking kind of tough, kind of like a tough fight. So I don't see the Bruttii making any progress in that neighborhood, to be honest. And I thought that I saw some brigands as well, didn't I? Yes, I did. Of course. One unit of warband. Do I have anything to fight them with? Peasants there. Peasants there. Peasants there. I was going to bring you over, actually. Yeah, so you may as well. You can just head over and kill this warband. Yeah, that works.
March! General!
Now it is time to finally take Tara and to finally take Ireland. So, we have our rams. That's probably going to be enough, I would say. And let's assault. And they do not have much. They just have the 2 units of warbands and the 1 British heavy chariot. And yeah, we have a pretty solid army here. Archers, light auxilia, plenty of spears, plenty of legionaries. Not everything is all, 100%, but yeah, we are definitely strong enough to take this settlement. I have decided to attack the settlement over from this side, just because we do have more of a straight shot right up into the city center there. So let's go ahead and start the battle, and we can get going. You go right down the middle, and you will veer off to the left and right, and then we can start shooting into the warband immediately. So we're gonna have 2 of those units deal with. Looks like the other unit has remained back on the city center, but it looks like, yeah, we're gonna be getting some good shots into that warband as they run away. Perfect. They will not be receiving that shield bonus as they run away, so that's going to be really nice. And we can even save our javelins for those chariots if that's what we want to do.
Forward.
We have now gained an entry into the settlement, and after that unit of warband has just kind of danced back and forth in front of us, we've done a lot of damage to them, so that unit is pretty much half strength at this point. And the other 2 units are just kind of remaining back in the city center, so we can move up. I have a lot of spears, so that's very nice. The legionaries are, they're nice as well. They can probably do pretty well against the warband for sure, but then again, so can my archers. They can also shoot down the warband, and yeah, I like the idea of saving my javelins for the chariots. That seems to be pretty clean. Now that I have gained the upper level, so far with no contests coming from the chariots or that last unit of warband, and what I'm doing now is I'm sort of mixing my troops up so that I have auxilia and legionaries supported by light auxilia. So 1 unit of each, and I'm kind of rotating that, or should I say repeating that, with another unit of auxilia, legionaries, and light auxilia. So I have the javelins for the chariots, the legionaries for the warband, and the auxilia, of course, to take the charge from the chariots. So that's the idea. And if I can bring up these early legionaries, kind of want to bring the archers up just so that I can initiate this attack here by the enemy. But if they're going to stay there on their central plaza, then I will just continue to march up until as much of my units as I can fit on there are good to go. And actually, I don't even need my archers to initiate this. I can just march up until my javelins are in range too. That works. Looks like we have some action here. Looks like, yep. Chariots are going in. Maybe. I mean, that's a fairly limp charge. You guys can toss your stuff in, and you can definitely toss your stuff in as well. By toss your stuff in, I meant you peel them. But, if you want to go in there with your swords, that's fine too. And then javelins, yeah, go ahead and just destroy these chariots. Oh my god, they're going down so fast. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Holy smokes. Yeah, they got wrecked. Holy shit. Alright. So, pretty much, it's just going to be a bunch of warband left. A 30-man unit and a 100-man unit. Yeah, we can deal with that with, yeah, we don't need to mix our troops anymore. Let's just go full legionaries and archers to get rid of the last of these warband. At this point, I'm thinking, you know what? How about I just release the dogs? And the dogs can sort of keep the warband busy while my archers just rain down hell upon them. I think. I don't know. Because the warband, typically, like in this scenario, when they're getting shot by archers, that's when they, charge your lines. But if they're just busy fighting dogs, they're not going to be charging their lines, and they're going to be taking more fire from arrows, I think. Also, I want to look at this, but I want to watch this and see sort of like what the distance is before the dogs get released. I want to see, it's interesting too, to see Yeah, I love seeing how the units just kind of step aside and let units march through them. That's so cool. I noticed that I was watching a video by YouTuber Tomic, I think is how it's pronounced. And yeah, he showed this, how they step aside and form these columns so that you can just march down the columns. This only works when guys are marching and not running. But, oh, it's so cool. Look at that. Look at that. It's just so neat. That is really, really cool. Yeah, I love that. That's not even like a formation. So yeah, it looks like the dogs get released at about that range. Okay. Good to know. So now let's try to get my dog handlers. And do the dog handlers, they don't march forward into the fight, do they? No, they stay back. Okay, got it. Just needed to keep an eye on that. All right, archers, go ahead and go back on fire at will. The same with you. So dogs are now fighting warband. Arrows are now flinging into their face. And they should be losing a lot of men. And they can't exactly kind of like run into us. They're trying to. Yeah, you can see how they're trying to. And then they're just going to be faced with Roman steel. I mean, you guys have your javelins, right? No javelin. Not going to throw your javelins? You're not going to throw your javelins. Guys, you're allowed to throw your javelins. By all means, throw your pilum. There you go. And did the archers stop firing as well? It's funny, it's kind of like they recognize them as like friendly combatants, so they don't fire into the melee. That's kind of cute, but it's okay. They're going to be replaced by the next battle. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you guys can reform and just continue to throw your javelins. Yep, that is fine. 5 men left in that unit. This unit is hacking down the last couple of dogs. And let's continue to shoot into there. Yeah, that seemed like a pretty effective strategy. We barely had to fight. And you are out of javelins. You have one more volley left, perhaps? Maybe 1 or 2 volleys. And there they come. They'll be running on in, and they can take a pilum toss to the face. And there we go. So let's end that battle. Did we only lose 1 man? What? Holy smokes, wow. Well, I guess we lost more. Oh, was that to friendly fire? We lost, what? 17, 19 men to friendly fire? Really? Damn. Okay. Oops. Yeah, I don't want to look at that number. I'd rather look at the number of men that they killed, not the amount of men that I killed of my own dudes. It's a sobering number. All right. Yeah, massacres. Get massacre 6,900 to get 6,800 denarii. Yeah, sure. Seems like exterminate's just kind of the way to go at this stage of the game, just to be able to move on as fast as possible. You know, to reduce the amount of public unrest. So interesting. The Hall of Heroes has been damaged. Did I do that? Huh. I wonder... I was kind of hoping I could build over that, but I guess I can't. I have to repair that first. And I have to get 12,000 people before I can do so. Okay, it's gonna be a while. Alright. Well, let's repair both of those buildings then. And let's see, recruit... yeah, not a lot of options here. Light Auxilia and Roman Cav, War Dogs, yeah, some boats. So, yep, can't recruit any legionaries, but that's fine. Can't have everything. And how is the money looking? Actually, let's look in here. Squalor's fine. Seems like it's always a 50% cultural penalty when I take a new settlement. That seems pretty normal. Alright, so what if we're looking at if we get paved roads? Oh yeah, we're on an island, so that doesn't help us out at all, does it? That's kind of too bad. Corruption, 558. So I'll probably want to get a temple to Jupiter. What are we looking at temple-wise? What's the situation? Sacred Circle of Andrasta. That's going to give me experience to... experience bonus to troops trained here. Damn, that's a good one. It's a good one, but, considering the only troops that I can train is this, So, fine. Let's go ahead and retrain these guys and get that experience bonus. And let's recruit some peasants. And then once that's finished, we can just demolish that circle and then build a temple to Jupiter so that we can reduce that corruption. Down here in Cordoba, I'm curious to see, is there any chance at all that I can come out, bring in the peasants, lower the taxes? No, 45% public order, so this is going to boost it up to, I think, 55% once this temple is finished, but we're going to need some more peasants at the very least before that gets done. So yeah, let's move these peasants back out, let's move you back in, and let's go back to taxing the absolute hell out of these people. Yeah, there we go. Make some money there. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get there. Even if we have to, you know, build some sewers, even though, again, I really want to get those money buildings, but, yeah, even if I have to build some sewers or build I mean, I can just keep going up the temple chain, too. That's an idea. But the sewers is going to be faster than the next tier of temple buildings. I just noticed that here in Massilia, I can actually train the Arcani, so that's pretty fun. Yeah, this is a unit that I will definitely be using because look at that. They look amazing. I love the look of that unit. They look so funny. And awesome. Yeah, even though I do like to use, you know, armies that sort of fit some sort of idea of what maybe armies actually looked like, I'm still going to use the fun stuff. I can't not do it. It's a game and they put this in the game. Like, I'm not going to avoid using this unit. This is awesome. Yeah, they're fucking awesome. All right, I want to compare these guys to the gladiators, actually. Unfortunately, I can't train gladiators in Massilia, but I can train them in Mediolanium. So, what are we looking at here? 13 attack and 15 defense. And then 900 recruitment costs and 160 upkeep. So 13, 15, 900, 160. So 15 attack. So that's going to be... So 15 attack for the Stam Knights. 15 and 14. I already forgot the numbers. So the gladiators have 2 more attack and 1 less defense. Okay, and so 900 and 160. So the gladiators are quite a bit cheaper to recruit, but they're going to be 100 more for upkeep, which is interesting. The unit size I think is the same. It's 40 for each, right? They're both going to be small unit sizes. No, this is smaller. This is 32 soldiers. Okay, this is a small unit. Okay, so that makes the combat capabilities of the gladiators quite a bit better, I suppose. But of course, this one has the advantages of being able to hide anywhere. So it's very similar to how the Battlefield Ninjas work in Shogun 1, and also the Hashishin in Medieval 1, which are also units that I like to use in those games. So yeah. The only difference, though, or the primary difference, is that both of those units had a ranged capability. The Shogun, the Battlefield Ninjas had the Ninja Stars, and then the Hashishin had an actual bow. The Arcani are simply just a melee unit, but they can hide anywhere. So I kind of like, this is how this works in my head, is thinking kind of like using them in siege defense battles where you are drawing the enemy into a road or an alley, and then on that side road or side alley that the enemy sort of passes by thinking, hey, there's no one there. Well, then you actually just have Arcani standing there out in the open, but they're invisible, so the enemy runs by them, and then you sort of like charge into their flanks. It's an idea that I've had for quite a while, going all the way back to Shogun, in fact, that when units reveal themselves from being concealed, whether it's rushing out of a forest or coming out of like concealment, as one of these units do, it's my understanding that enemy units do receive a morale shock debuff when that happens. If it happens like close enough to them, if the unit reveal happens close enough to that unit, then I think that there is a morale debuff. I think so. I'd have to double check, but that seems like a very, very powerful way to use the Arcani in siege defense battles. Now, like, I don't know how common siege defense battles are. I haven't fought any yet so far in any of my campaigns. It seems like sallying out, as long as you have enough range capabilities, is so strong that you may as well do that. But I wonder if I can come up with like a quote unquote weak enough garrison that makes the enemy seem like they really want to attack, and then I can just really pounce on them and kick their ass, and that'd be kind of fun. And the Arcani seem like a perfect unit for that. And then what else? Like gladiators. So here's another thing: the fast moving. That's awesome, and very good stamina. That's very useful as well. They will be not losing their morale, and then is it also attack that gets lost as units get more tired? I think the attack also goes away. Good morale is awesome as well. I think the gladiators have higher morale, I believe. The gladiators have excellent morale. That's even better. So yeah, I would say as a pure combat unit, it seems like the gladiators are a little bit better. However, may charge without orders. Yeah, that's definitely not great, but very good stamina. They're not as fast as the Arcani, so there is that. Yeah, interesting. Really cool. All right, so I have been training these here in Mediolanium. I already have one unit finished, and I'm getting another one out on the way. And the way that I have in mind of using these units is basically as my reserve force in my army comps. So in my current army comps, basically, you know, for as long as I've been able to field full strength stacks, I've been using the Auxilia as my reserve and vanguard unit. Now I'm going to continue using them as my vanguard unit, teaming up with my light Auxilia, because that's just a really good 1-2 punch, I think. However, I've been using them as my reserve unit just because I haven't had the option of using gladiators or Arcani until this point in the campaign. Obviously, you can use whatever you want for a reserve unit. You can just use more legionaries. It's a very common tactic, I would say. You know, if you're going to play Rome, just use legionaries. Yeah, fine. You just use as many of them as you want. I think using these fun units, though, is a really neat idea for that reserve role. Not the front rank. You don't really want them taking charges from chariots or cav or really anything. You don't really want these units getting shot by stuff. You kind of want them in the reserve role, I think. And that's going to be my idea going forward. Now, with that being said, using the Auxilia did work out very well. It's done very well for me. Using that Auxilia as a reserve unit when I was fighting all of those chariots that was, being used by the Britons, and it's going to be continue being used by them up here. Absolutely. Having 5 units of Auxilia has been very good for me, because when those chariots want to come around my front rank and they want to try to avoid my light Auxilia, knowing that they have a bonus versus chariots, well then guess what? They're met by my spears in my rear part of the army, where the chariots can sort of get bogged down by spears and cav and dogs and whatever. And that's worked pretty well. Would gladiators have done as good of a job? I don't know. I don't know if that would have worked as well. I think the spears were kind of a good call for that. So going forward, now that I'm going to be facing, I would say, maybe more infantry-focused armies, whether it's the Romans or the Germans, I think the gladiators can be a kind of a fun reserve unit. Being that they're not fast-moving. Yeah, they're not fast-moving, but still, the fact that they're, kind of these small units that are more mobile and able to kind of move around a bit better, and I think they can be a really good, flank, like a kind of a good unit for teaming up with cavalry. If I want to use cav and gladiators together on the flanks, they can sort of push through on a certain side where I see a weakness, and the cav can either chase down skirmishers, and the gladiators can possibly get flanking attacks into the main body of the enemy army, or they can just plug holes in the front line of my current army if I'm getting hit really hard. There's a lot of fun rules like that, and I think that that's something that I can use going forward with my reserve role. I can swap out either Auxilia or gladiators, or even the Arcani if I just want to just play with them, They don't just have to be a siege defense unit. Maybe use them on the open field. Why not? And I also have had in mind, just because the Romans have so many different fun stuff to play with, I want to use more artillery going forward as well. And I keep, obviously the ballistas are kind of, they don't seem like sieges are a great place for them to be used. I think that if you want to attack a settlement on the first turn, a settlement that just has a palisade or a wooden wall, then yeah, they do have their use in that way. However, as an actual like utility piece when it comes to like doing damage to the enemy, I feel like defending and attacking rivers in my head seems like the best use for just basic ballistas. Obviously, the Romans do get access to better ballistas, to get access to the repeating ballistas later on in the campaign. In fact, I don't think I can train those yet. I think I'm working on getting, scorpions and onagers here in Patavium. And yeah, those are more units that I want to use up as well. And I don't think these units are best used in the reserve role in armies. That leaves me pretty light on melee capabilities, I feel like. However, we're swapping out, for instance, maybe a couple of cav units for that artillery in certain situations seems pretty good, whether we're talking about bridge defense or even a siege attack. You know, we don't need 4 units of cav for siege attacks, but a couple units of artillery, yeah, sure. Maybe not ballistas, but like the onager is definitely useful for taking on walls and towers. And scorpions, gosh, I think they would be pretty fun for open field battles. In my head, they would be, but again, maybe they're just going to be just as useless as the ballistas. Not sure, but definitely want to play around with this stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff for the Romans. It's just with the Julii so far in this campaign, it's been more about like bare bones, like I don't have enough money to get stuff, and I'm doing better on money now, for sure, but I kind of don't want to take my foot off the pedal when it comes to spending money back into my economy. I feel like I need to continue to really reinvest back into that, and that makes me think that I'm falling further and further behind my future enemies when it comes to military tech. So it's definitely a little fine line to balance there, and I need to keep an eye on that. But at the same time, I know that in the back of my mind, I know that I need to continue training stuff when I can. Here and there, I need to start plugging away at stuff that I want to start using in my future armies, just so that, you know, when the shit hits the fan, I'm not like, oh no, I don't have anything. Like, no, I should probably have at least 3 armies in this section of my empire. At least 3. 1 here, 1 here, and then 1 down here. At least. And up in this section, what feels good? 4 at least? Yeah, probably. 4 at least. So I have 2 up here, and I'm working on a 3rd one. This one's going to be freed up now. So that's the 4th. So that's, yeah, I like that. I like that, you know, we're kind of in the ballpark of what I want to have in this area. Down here, no, I need to start plugging away at getting a 2nd and 3rd army up around here. And the nice thing about Iberia is that once this has been taken, just like in real life for Rome, they didn't need much to hold Iberia because it's just not threatened by anything. You know, Rome eventually owned North Africa, so they didn't have to worry about any attacks from there. Now, do I have to worry about the Scipii? Well, as I mentioned before, they don't seem like they have a lot of strength in Western North Africa, so I think a lot of the forces that I have in Iberia can move away and either reinforce my front against the Brutii, or they can either take the fight to the Scipii, whether it's in North Africa, or maybe even finishing off the Carthaginians here in the Balearic Islands, and then sort of waging a kind of a naval Mediterranean island hopping war against the Scipii and taking Carolus, and maybe, do I want to fight in Sicily? I don't know. I feel like I need more than 1 army for that. I mean, yeah, that seems like a little bit of an overreach, but at least taking the Balearic Islands off the Carthaginians, and at least taking Tingi off of the Scipii, just to sort of secure my southern flank. So that's going to be the idea. I have to keep continuing to plug away at training these armies up. But at the same time, obviously, it's quite the balancing act, because every time I see an economy building that should be built, I'm going for it. I'm building that economy building. So I like the progress that I've been making, and I want to keep this progress going. I do, as I, have mentioned, I do think I will be taking Batava Vodorum pretty soon here. Trier, pretty much as soon as our ceasefire with the Germans ends, I will be taking Trier. And Iberia will be wrapped up, I think, as soon as I can get this army to leave Cordoba. And taking the last 2 Spanish settlements should not take too long. But that's why I want to continue to plug away at training armies, because I don't need high-tier stuff to take these provinces. I need high-tier stuff to fight the Romans eventually. So for now, I don't need to be... See, I wanted to train legionaries down here in Arretium just so that I have them eventually. But in general, early legionaries, auxilia, Roman cav, Roman archers, light auxilia, that's enough to do the job against these forces, these factions that I have been fighting. That's been more than good enough. So just continuing to pump those armies out, and heck, even those armies, being that they are somewhat relatively low tier compared to the Bruttii armies, if I can catch them in decent fights, like river fights or, siege fights or something like that, depending on my army makeup, if I want to bolster my forces with artillery, maybe I can sort of swing things in my favor, even if they have an infantry advantage, or even if they have a cavalry advantage. Maybe I can sort of find the micro advantages here and there in certain battles. But overall, the Bruttii are looking scary, so that is something that I'm going to want to keep in mind. And yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know how long it's going to be until that civil war just kick off. But I at least have a few more settlements that I want to take before that happens. But that is all going to have to wait until later. Before I go, I just wanted to say that if you're enjoying these videos and you would like to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. It all helps immensely. Until next time, this has been Constip playing Rome Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.